Alright everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to look at every single weapon they've added to Chapter 7 Season 1 and we're going to rank them from worst to best. Now this list is going to include returning weapons, so that basically just means the list will contain items like the dual micro SMGs and the tactical pistol. Hey, but now we got all that out of the way. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel with the notification bell on, and let's dive straight into the Chapter 7 Season 1 tier list. Alright, so first off, I just want to give an honourable mention to the Forsaken Vow Blade. And listen, the only reason it's down here is because I just couldn't get any footage of it, and that is because they have already vaulted it. But listen, even if it wasn't unvaulted, its place on the list would not have changed. I think this is just an absolutely atrocious weapon. I mean, as movement, this weapon is really good. I actually quite like using it as a movement item, but you are not going to get an elimination with this weapon. It is absolutely useless. It was doing like, what, 60 damage, 20 damage, 40 damage. Listen, I'm sorry, it's one of the worst weapons I have ever used in Fortnite, and that's why it's ended up at the bottom of the list, and that's also why it's an honorable mention, because I didn't really think it should be counted as a weapon. Okay, but carrying on from that, at the number 12 spot on this list, we have the dual micro SMGs. Now listen, I know I'm going to get a lot of flack in the comments down below. People going like, oh, well, you're just not using them right. I just haven't seen that happen yet. I have tried and tried and tried again to like these weapons. I love the sound of them. I love the feel of them, but they just don't do enough damage. I mean, it's got an incredibly strong fire rate of around 18 bullets a second, but it does no damage. It does 9 damage in common and it does 13 damage in legendary. Listen, I'm sorry, this weapon, I honestly thought it would be a lot stronger. It was pretty good in Chapter 5 Season 4, and I honestly thought all this gun needed was a season without the hover jets, because, oh boy, you weren't using this against those hover jets. But I'm sorry, this weapon is just really, really bad. I am trying my best to use them, and honestly, I think there's 3 more fast-firing light ammo weapons on this list that do such a better job at being a fast-firing lightweight weapon, and it's just fallen all the way to the bottom of the list. And coming up next is another returning weapon from Chapter 5 Season 4. It's the Sovereign Shotgun. Now, I remember this shotgun being really strong. I remember it actually being a pretty good contender with all the other weapons in the season. I mean, listen, between a hammer pump and a gatekeeper, you know, it wasn't doing that bad. But I don't know, man, this shotgun just isn't like it used to be. It just kind of feels like it's lost all of its impact. Every single time I pick it up and I try to shoot somebody with it, I'm gonna like 40 damage, I'm gonna like 50 damage. I mean, when I aim in, I get like even less damage. I don't know, man, I just feel like the 2 shotguns in this loot pool just do a much better job at being that high damage, quick firing, quick flicking shotgun. And the truth is, if you pick up this weapon, you are literally going to drop it for any of the other shotguns, and I think that is just a real shame, because this one just used to feel so good. I don't know what they've done to it. And honestly, going from this point to the list, I really don't think there's a single bad weapon on it. And coming up next at the number 10 spot is the Flex SMG, a brand new addition to the loot pool. Now, this weapon is really interesting because it actually has 2 different fire rates. If you hip fire the weapon, which is basically just not aiming in, it has a hip fire of 12.5, and if you aim in, the fire rate of the weapon slows down, but you actually have more impactful shots, which is a really cool mechanic. Kind of reminds me of the pulse rifle, and this SMG is actually really good. As you can see, I've got some gameplay playing in the background. This weapon can absolutely shred somebody when it's used in the right situation. And honestly, I think it is just a really good SMG overall. Now, obviously, it's not the best SMG on this list. I do think there is one that is ever so slightly better. Honestly, in my opinion, the whole like aiming in gimmick to make it even more powerful, it's not the biggest difference in the world, but it shouldn't really matter because both damages of this weapon absolutely shred an opponent. And that's why it's ended up where it is on the list. It's a pretty consistent gun, and there are just better guns in the game. And one of those weapons is the Modular Attack AR. Now listen, if you would have told me back in Chapter 5 that this weapon would even make it to number 9 on a list, I would be absolutely confused. It was just simply atrocious all the way back in Chapter 5. It was one of the worst weapons that got spat out during that era of Fortnite. And that was mainly because, as we are seeing in this season, of bullet drop. I mean, as soon as this weapon got converted to hit scan, it just felt 10 times better. It was like it was designed for hit scan. This weapon can absolutely destroy somebody if you use it correctly. It's got a pretty decent fire rate and pretty good numbers up close. So this thing could actually deliver in a pinch if you don't have a fast firing weapon like a Hollow Rush SMG or an Arc Lightning gun. And that's what I've been doing. I've been running this in my SMG slot. Honestly, the only thing I could say this weapon would be improved by is with a red dot scope. I think there needs to be another red dot AR to kind of like challenge the Deadeye assault rifle, because as I've already said in my Chapter 7 review, I'd actually appreciate it if you go check that out after this video. I just think red dot assault rifles absolutely dominate a meta. You are not going to pick up any any non-red dot ARs, and I think this weapon would have been perfect as a contender to the Deadeye. That is the only thing I would have changed for this weapon, and honestly, other than that, it's just a really consistent, really well put together weapon. It's just all around pretty decent. Hey, and talking about a really decent weapon, this is a really good weapon. We have the tactical pistol. Now listen, if you'd have gone back in time and told Chapter 4 me that I would have put this pistol in a number 8 spot, I wouldn't have believed you. I think this is one of the best pistols of all time. I love it. It is just such a good weapon, but honestly, it has just been outclassed by some really, really good weapons this season. It is still one of the best pistols the game has ever seen, and honestly, whenever I see one in like, you know, purple, gold, I've been picking it up. I mean, even lower rarities are good for early game. As long as you aim with this weapon, you actually keep your sights on the player, you will shred them. It does like 25 damage per shot. I mean, the mythic version of this gun does almost 200 damage per second. And with a reload time of 1.5 seconds on the lowest rarity, this weapon will shred any player you come across. And the only reason it's not higher up on the list is because I just think there's so many goated weapons this season. And I wish I could put it higher, but it's sadly just fallen down the list. Hey, but coming up next on the list is another fast-firing SMG, the Hollow Rush SMG. Now listen, this weapon is just a carbon copy of the Red-Eye SMG from Reload, but it is a really, really strong weapon. This is one of the best SMGs the game has seen in years. I mean, the damage you can do with this weapon, even from afar, you can still do pretty good numbers from this weapon if you use it as like a long-range assault rifle. I have gotten some really nasty clips with this weapon. I mean, 9 times out of 10, if I don't have a sniper on me, I will have this weapon in my 3rd slot. They completely knocked it out of the park with this one, and honestly, I prefer the sight they have on this one because they took the red-eye sight off of the weapon and they replaced it with the Hollow 13 optic, and this was an insane change for the weapon. It honestly makes it so much easier to hit shots with this weapon. This is honestly one of my favorite SMGs of all time, and I really, really enjoy this weapon. But obviously, I don't like it as much as the weapon at the number 6 spot, which is the Twin Hammer Shotguns. Now, yeah, I'm going to be honest, this is just the tac shotgun of this season, but honestly, it is really consistent. Now, listen, it's not going to do huge numbers like the pump, which does like, I don't know, like 180s, 190s. It's not going to do that heavy impact damage, but what it is going to do, it's going to consistently give you 80, it's going to give you 80, it's going to give you 80. And of course, you have double the amount of ammo in this gun than you have in the iron pump. It is honestly just a really nice and consistent weapon. I have been using this quite a lot, and to be fully honest, I think this shotgun is perfectly balanced. I mean, it doesn't feel bad to lose to, and it also doesn't feel bad to play with. You can very comfortably play with this weapon against the iron pump, and you can also play very comfortably against this weapon with the iron pump. Overall, it's just a really well put together item. I definitely don't think it's the best shotgun this season, but I think if you have it and you have it in high rarity, fully get a win with this item, and that's why it's ended up perfectly in the middle of the list at the number 6 spot. But in my opinion, I think the new hit scan version of the Enforcer AR is a better weapon. This weapon is incredible. It does so much damage. People need to be giving this weapon way more of a chance. It is just simply not getting its chance to shine because of the Deadeye assault rifle, and I think that is such a shame because this weapon can destroy somebody. Don't get me wrong, it is one of the best assault rifles the game has ever had. I mean, this thing could do like 70 headshot in legend. I mean, it can do like 50 headshot in common, which is insane. I mean, how many assault rifles in this game do you know of that do 50 headshot damage at common? And honestly, as long as you tap fire this weapon, you're gonna hit every shot. That's just the reality of it. You can hit every single shot in a clip with this gun. It is so accurate. I cannot stress that enough. This is one of the most accurate guns I have ever used in Fortnite history. Honestly, the only one I can think of that I was performing better with was the Spire assault rifle all the way back from Chapter 6 Season 3. It's one of the better items this season, and especially if you get it in an epic or gold rarity, this weapon will absolutely carry you to the end game. It is easily one of the best this season, and that's why it's ended up all the way at the number 5 spot. Hey, and going up at the number 4 spot, I'm going to get a lot of fire for this one as well. It is the Vengeful Sniper Rifle. Yes, I know I put this up way at the top of the list. I'm going to get flame for it down in the comments below. But honestly, I have been loving this sniper rifle. I've been hitting shot after shot after shot after shot with this gun. And whenever I pick up this weapon, I just enter a flow state. Now listen, I know a lot of people don't share my opinion. I've seen all the discourse online. People really hate this sniper rifle. They really want to get it buffed. But I just find this to be a really consistent weapon. As I said back in my Chapter 7 review, I mean, if you haven't already, make sure you give it a watch. I've been using this as honestly like a double pump combo, and it has been getting me some really solid results. Listen, if this weapon gets buffed so we can one-shot headshot, it will be a dream weapon. It just needs to be that tiny little bit stronger. I know it already got a buff. I mean, the buffs this weapon got made it one of my favorite weapons this entire season. And honestly, if you haven't given it a chance since the beginning of this season, I wholeheartedly recommend you to try it out. Honestly, I could gush about this weapon for hours and hours and hours. Hey, but for your sake, I'm going to move on. And we're actually entering into the top 3 on this list. And kicking it off is the Iron Pump Shotgun. This pump feels really good. I am in love with this pump as well. It is easily one of my favorite shotguns to come out of the last 3 years of Fortnite. In my opinion, Chapter 6 had a really bad pump. It just didn't feel good. It didn't feel clicky. It didn't feel snappy. It just kind of felt sluggish. This shotgun changes all of that. It is such a good shotgun. Now listen, I was surprised by this in my Chapter 7 video. I was getting a lot of people down in my comment section absolutely slamming this weapon, calling it inconsistent, they were calling it bad, and I don't think that's the case. Listen, I think this is easily one of the best shotguns Fortnite has pulled out in so long. It feels so good sliding around, you know, you slide behind the opponent, you flick around, you shoot them in the head for 180, then you absolutely dome them with another shot. Now listen, I definitely think that the Hammer Pump shotgun this season is way more consistent. You can definitely deal better damage with it, but with a shotgun, if you deal good damage, you deal insane damage. Like, your opponent will just be gone. It will be a matter of seconds if you get some good shots off with a shotgun, and that's what really matters. Now listen, do I think they should just start bringing back old guns? Yes. I really think they should stop reiterating on the pump shotgun, just either bring back the pump shotgun or the Havoc pump shotgun and just call it a day. But honestly, for a reiteration of a tired out version of the exact same gun we've had for 7 years, it is one of the better ones that the game has actually put out. I've been in love with it from day one of the season, and honestly, I still feel the same way about it. It is one of my favorite guns the game has put out in the last few years. But of course, you're all probably waiting for it. At the number 2 spot is the Arc Lightning Zapper Gun. Honestly, I can never remember the name of this gun. It's either like the Zapper Gun, the Arc Lightning Gun. It doesn't matter. This gun can absolutely overwhelm an enemy. It's honestly one of the most ridiculous items in this entire loot pool. And I'm going to reiterate the point that I made when I was talking about this gun originally. It feels like the gun that people figure out in the first week of the season, and it just kind of falls off. You know, it becomes like absolutely atrocious. You know, my mind goes to something like the Auto Turret from Chapter 5 Season 4, or another heavy weapon, the Lead Spitter 3000 from Chapter 6 Season 4. But the weird thing about this weapon, it just hasn't had that happen yet. It is still one of the most broken weapons in the game. People are only using it more and more. And unfortunately, as people like me talk about it more often and glaze it more often, people are going to start picking it up more often. And eventually, it's going to get to the point where this weapon is basically the only thing people are carrying. But honestly, at the moment, we're in a really good sweet spot with this weapon where not many people are using it, but the people that are using it are kind of bad with it. So if you can get good with this weapon, you can steamroll the entire lobby. This weapon has an insane reach, so you can't even run away from it, really. Like, it could almost reach 50 meters. You are not running away from this weapon. Now, listen, while it doesn't do too much damage initially, if you just keep somebody pressured, especially if you have a teammate with you, you will just absolutely decimate this person. It does about 10 damage per hit, and it has a DPS of around 110. It is frankly one of the silliest weapons in Fortnite history. This is what Fortnite is known for. It's not known for realism. It is known for goofy weapons, and this is right at home. So listen, while I can look into the future, and I can very clearly see this weapon being absolutely demolished by nerfs once everybody figures it out, at the moment, it's just one of the better items in this game. And honestly, all of that is why it's ended up at the number 2 spot on this list. But I'm sure you're all wondering, and most of you probably already know, what's at the number 1 spot. And of course, sitting all the way at the number 1 spot, it could only be one thing. It's the Deadeye Assault Rifle. This item has been haunting this tier list like a ghost. It is easily one of the best items in this game, and it just makes so many weapons in this season feel absolutely worthless. And that is just because of how good of an item it is. It's basically just a reskin of the Prime Hollow Twister Assault Rifle, and honestly, it feels just as much of a menace as that gun. Do I even need to say anything about this weapon? It is just the most dominant weapon this entire season. Listen, in my opinion, red dot assault rifles are so boring. It just makes every single gunfight just feel like point and shoot simulator. It involves no skill, but there is absolutely no denying this weapon is good. This is my wild opinion for the top of this list. It is easily the best weapon in this game, but I think that's a really bad thing. I know people are going to say, oh, just get better. But honestly, I don't care. I just want this weapon gone. I want Fortnite to feel like Fortnite again, and with this kind of weapon, it just won't feel like Fortnite. I mean, it's been hit by nerf after nerf after nerf. They've been trying to make it more equal to fit in with all the other assault rifles, but no nerf could stop this thing. It's the best item in the game right now, and I think it needs to leave. Listen, you can definitely personally swap the number 1 and the number 2 spot around. I think the arc lightning gun is just that broken. But in my opinion, the Deadeye just slightly clears it out. It's slightly more powerful. It's slightly more broken. It's slightly more busted. And honestly, that's why it's made it all the way to the very top of this list. Alright everybody, that's the end of the tier list. Thank you so much for sticking around all the way to the end. I also just want to thank you so much for the support I got on my commentary video. It was a huge project for me, and honestly, I would love to carry on making that kind of content. So if you guys have any ideas of what you want me to talk about, make sure to leave a comment down below, let me know, and I'll put it in my list of ideas. But you know what, I'm going to call it here. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe on this video if you enjoyed it. Hit that notification bell so you actually get told when my videos come out. At the end of the day, all you really have to do is stay safe, drink some water, and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye bye.